the inspiration of this session. It is from Yog Vasishtha. Be present to the consciousness, and it will manifest through you. Be present to the consciousness, and it will manifest through you. Just be present to the consciousness that is manifesting in this panel discussion today. This panel discussion is not just an intellectual discourse. It is an intellectual discourse, but also beyond it. And if you can be present to the consciousness that is flowing here, it will manifest in your lives in very unique ways. Okay. So first, with this, we start our session, Future of Humanity, a Spiritual Perspective. It is an absolute honor to welcome Dr. Amit Goswami, who is a world-renowned theoretical quantum physicist and activist. While researching the meaning of quantum physics, he found that when quantum physics is formulated within the metaphysics of qualified non-dualism of the Vedanta, the obscurity of quantum physics finds meaning. He started a movement called quantum activism, and this has culminated in Quantum Activism Vishwalayam, which offers master's and PhD program through the University of Technology in Jaipur. Dr. Amit Goswami is a prolific writer who is the author of numerous books, such as The Self-Aware Universe, The Physics of the Soul, The Quantum Doctor, God is Not Dead, Quantum Creativity, and the Everything Answer book. He was featured in the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? I actually watched that movie more than a decade ago, and I cannot believe that Dr. Goswami is in front of me today. It's really surreal. And documentaries like The Dalai Lama Renaissance and The Quantum Activist. We are very fortunate that Dr. Goswami is also offering online workshops such as Living Quantum Spirituality, The Journey to Quantum Enlightenment, and so on. And we'll be happy to share all this information on our groups. So thank you, Dr. Goswami. Next, I would like to welcome Dr. Yugandhar. Dr. Yugandhar, pranam. Dr. Yugandhar is a spiritual guide, a visionary, and a pioneer in transformative medicine. Dr. Yugandhar is the president of the World United, which has organized world parliaments on spirituality. His work started with the inspiration of Mahavatar Babaji. The first World Parliament on spirituality was held in Hyderabad, the second in USA, and there is an upcoming one in Goa in 2020, okay? So stay tuned. I want to present some statistics from this World Parliament of Spirituality. There have been 208 presenters, 2,000 participants from 56 nations, and wait for this, 42 million people signed up for the Universal Meditation Hour webcast, which was watched in 165 nations. We are honored to have you, Dr. Yugandhar. And next, I would like to welcome my guru, our guru, Kondo Shivo. Kondo Shivo is the founder of Kondo Life. Kondo Life offers a holistic worldview for today's very chaotic times. It integrates the upward causative scientific worldview and the downward causative religious worldview. In terms of science, it integrates quantum observation with the growing plasmic nature of life, with morphic resonances, string theory, and subtle planes of reality as explained by David Bohm. In terms of religion, it integrates the wisdom of evolving consciousness from the Upanishads, the ever-expanding Brahman. the Vedic wisdom of integrating with vibrational reality, the wisdom mentioned in the Gita of channeling divine in own unique ways in different life situations, and the wisdom of dissolving subconscious as explained by Buddha. Quantum life processes, which are beyond meditation, offer a quantum revolutionary leap to its seekers. It guides them to the flow through the unknown dimension of life, opens them to divine channeling, manifesting new creations to the world. Thank you, all the esteemed speakers. A special request to all the esteemed speakers that while we are really yearning to receive your holistic understanding, please also give us practical inputs that we can practically apply into our lives. So my first question is to Dr. Goswami, Dr. Amit Goswami.
Please.
So Dr. Amit Goswami, I'm going to ask you a very candid question. The moment people hear of quantum mechanics, they think either it's going to go over their head and they skip it, or they will use the word quantum mechanics to show how intelligent or intellectual they are, or they will think that, okay, there is this theory here and it has some technological applications that are useful to me. So I would like to ask you, because you're the right person to ask this, what is the relevance, the meaning, or the purpose of quantum mechanics in our lives?
Yes, this question, of course, is the very basic question, and also it's a very elaborate question. It's difficult to answer within a few sentences, but I'll try. Quantum physics, first of all, was developed in connection with pure material objects, very, very minute, what we call elementary particles of energy and matter. And that is a bit confusing. Then how can it relate to consciousness? But when the mathematics was discovered for quantum physics, it was a startling discovery. What we discovered is that these waves that quantum objects are, which originally was thought to be waves in space and time, they're not. They're waves of possibility. Not only that, the domain in which they reside is a domain in which two objects interact. Two of these waves interact, they become in a special state called correlation or entanglement. In that state, they can communicate instantly. And of course, you know, when you encounter such ideas, especially when other interpreters are interpreting it, you don't notice what it means. But many years later, I realized that that means oneness. If two objects can communicate instantly, they are one. So eventually that oneness can be interpreted, because not can be, it has to be interpreted. There is just no other way, because otherwise quantum physics cannot be correlated with experimental data. Quantum physics remains a physics of potentiality, but has no practical consequences. If you don't believe that, then you have to bring in the idea that some non-material interaction is involved. And this is the crucial thing. If you want to understand quantum physics, if you want to interpret quantum physics in a scientific way, otherwise quantum physics will remain incomplete science forever, then it is essential to introduce a non-material consciousness, which then, through downward causation, a different causation, not material causation, not a causation by force, but a causation by choice, chooses out of the many possibilities that a possibility wave represent, the particular actuality that would manifest in a particular case of measurement. This leads to a science of consciousness. And everything that I subsequently discovered, actually, you know, this is why the question that Ranuka sent to me on WhatsApp, that is bothering some of the people, because it must have come from someone, that Vedanta and quantum physics somehow must be somewhat different. They're not. Because
Yes, sir. We were going to ask that question to you. That because we've heard of its similarities. We've heard about the similarities of the methods and the quantum mechanics, and we wanted to ask you: are there any differences also, or is it the same? I would like your expert opinion on that.
there is no dissimilarity, there is only clarification. Vedanta has some incompleteness. Of course, like Vedanta would talk about a fullness. And then also it becomes clear that the fullness is not really the kind of fullness that we talk about, because Buddhists tend to talk about the same fullness as an emptiness. And then you wonder, okay, what is going on? Two great spiritual traditions. And then you realize they must be talking about the same thing, which many people realize. And then, of course, quantum physics clarifies that we are talking about possibilities, not actual things. So emptiness and fullness have no difference. We can say emptiness of things or fullness of possibilities. So in this way, and also in Vedanta, there is this mysterious process of Maya, which Vedanta does not explain, and quantum physics is some explanation. Maya comes about because of interaction with the brain. When consciousness collapses, it does it through the brain or through a living cell where there is a certain interactions among the components, which makes it possible for it to represent consciousness. In this way, we get representations of consciousness. Something happens. There is a lot of confusion among scientists that how can quantum physics apply to macro level? Because in the macro level, for material quantum physics, we don't get much quantum effect. Basically, quantum physics becomes approximately Newtonian physics. So that causes a lot of confusion, because brain or our body organ, immune system, they're all weak macro objects. And there again, the solution is that quantum physics necessitates these bodies that Vedanta calls subtle bodies, Sukshma Sharira, like the Pranamaya Kosha and Monomaya Kosha. They are the ones that are quantum. And those quantum objects are essential in order for consciousness to couple to bulk matter. So in this way, everything that initially I thought is additional proposition follows from quantum physics itself. Even the idea of archetypes, the Viganamaya Kosha, even that is necessary because the choice has to be objective in order for it to be a science, and the objectivity is brought about by purpose. The purpose of manifestation is for consciousness to better human life through infinite time via the manifestation of infinite representation that is possible to give the archetypes. Archetypes like love, beauty, truth, justice, all this. So in this way, everything that quantum, later I call quantum science, initially I called science within consciousness, everything follows from quantum physics itself. So you can say quantum physics itself applies to our life. If we change our life and live according to quantum physics, then we can realize all the Vedantic promises, namely happiness in life, intelligence, all of it.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Goswami. You have really given purpose and meaning to quantum mechanics. We can see that how it is playing a role in giving us this understanding on how we are all one, and it actually gives purpose to our everyday life, and we can live by these principles and for our own evolution. I would like to quickly call upon Dr. Yugandhar and Dr. and Shivo, if you all want to say something or add to what Dr. Goswami has said.
Yeah. So the questions you asked is the practical aspects of quantum physics. or rather it should be called as applications of quantum physics to the social reality.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
that is the first question you asked. And second question is there any dissimilarity between Upanishads and quantum physics? Okay, right. So I feel that all these days, for the past more than 100 years or even before, human being has been working, thinking as if he's in isolation, as if he's not related to any other being in the world. The separative consciousness, the discriminative consciousness has been dominating this social reality. Though a few have been awakened to the reality that everything is interdependent, everything is interrelated, and nothing exists in isolation, but still the masses are not awakened to this truth. And as a part of the scientific revolution, the Newtonian physics, followed by Einstein physics, followed by the quantum physics, and the upgradation of the understanding that has been happening in the name of quantum physics, finally it is culminating where the spirituality is getting met with the material sciences. The connecting point I feel, I understand, is nothing exists in isolation. Nothing, really nothing exists in isolation. Though we are appearing as separate, as if we are individual units, no related to anything else, yet deep down, in a very mysterious way, quantum way or a mystical way, both are same for me. Everything is related, everyone is related, everything is interconnected. So no, a person becoming wise in one corner of the world has got reflection on every other person. It's a matrix, a psycho-spiritual matrix. We are all creating this man-made matrix. We are a part of this huge, beautiful matrix, a quantum matrix. Every time we are raising our consciousness for an insight, for a satori, we are changing this matrix. We are rechanging the configuration of the very matrix continuously on a moment-to-moment basis by our very thoughts and actions and beliefs. So I feel the applications of quantum physics. Just a second, I will rejoin. The video is stuck, it seems.
Yeah, so hello.
Yes, sure. Yes.
Yes, so in the meantime, let me share. To me, the quantum understanding happened later. First, my mystical experiences happened, and then the processes were already developing. Later, I came to know that these processes are very similar to quantum. So let me give very, very practical aspects of quantum physics. I was so exhilarated to read the theory of Dr. David Bohm, where he says that whatever manifests in this world first happens in another subtle reality. So that means if we can connect with that subtle reality, then we can change that. We can change the future just by quantum observation. And then I came to know that what string theory says, that every object that is created in this world was first created as vibrations. So then I started to realize that, see, the masters for very long have been talking about observation. Like Krishna talked about the Sakshi Bhav in Gita. Then Buddha talked about the observation for dissolving your samskaras. Today's masters like Osho have talked about the constant witnessing. But then I realized that the quantum observation is a bit different from quantum observation is same, but is also different. What we are actually observing in quantum, while Buddha was talking about the observation of samskaras, Osho is talking about observation of thoughts and feelings. Quantum observation is about observation of vibrational realities. So very practically speaking, when we are in this world of chaos, where there is a chaos happening, we don't know what the future is, then how do we live life? Because till 30 years back, we used to live life by planning, by predicting where the future is going. But then the question is, now when future is totally unpredictable, how do you start to flow with the reality of a reality which is continuously changing. So then I realized if one can get connected with the vibrational planes and begin to observe, the reality begin to shift. So if there is a war that will happen after 3 years, it's already started to happen in the subtle reality. If there is going to be a divorce after 3 years, it's already started to happen in the vibrational reality. But if you begin to observe that vibrational reality today, that reality itself will begin to change and manifest differently. That is the power of the quantum observation. And I have a feeling that all the great organizations which are there today in of this world, like be it Google or Facebook or a lot of biotech organizations, somewhere they are tapping that vibrational reality. That is why they're always in touch with future. As the future evolves, they are automatically, they're just flowing with that. And with our own experiences of quantum life, we have seen that, yes, this is true. We can fall in line with the unknown. And even if we do not know what is going to happen tomorrow, we can start to live in a way which is actually in harmony with how the life is going to manifest. So this is the very practical aspects of quantum observation. Yes, Dr. Yugandhar, I hope your video is back.
Thank you. So the applications of quantum physics to the social reality, though it happens to be very much empirical, it has worked out only the principles. The quantum mechanics has laid out principles, but the procedural part of it is yet to be explored very deeply to make it available to every available science of the social reality. The procedural part, the tools and techniques need to be much worked out, it has to be much devised, much designed. And about the similarities and dissimilarities, you are talking about Upanishads and quantum mechanics. I particularly feel that we from India are very fortunate to have a lot of Vedas and Upanishads. Among these Upanishads, as you all know, the Mandukya Upanishad expounds a lot on the nature of consciousness, the smallest, the shortest Upanishad, but yet very powerful. There is saying, if you read Mandukya Upanishad, it is as if you have read all Upanishads. They talk about the different types of consciousness, the wakeful, the sleep consciousness, the swapna, the sushupti consciousness, the unconsciousness, and the turiya, the real nature of human being. In quantum mechanics, we use a word called superposition. Superposition means all these domains fall into one and make you feel that everything is interrelated. The separative consciousness, the discriminative consciousness will dissolve and turn into one singular unit of consciousness. That's you. That's everything. Becoming yourself is becoming everything else. That's what the Mandukya Upanishad says. They say, Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. Saram means the essence. Ekatma means the bits and pieces of consciousness that you think you have. The fragmented nature of your consciousness, the fractured nature of your consciousness need to be dissolved, and it has to be turned into one. Ekatma Pratyaya Saram. The essence of understanding is to superimpose all these three states of consciousness, the wakeful, the sleep, and the unconsciousness. The Jagruta, the Swapna, and Sushupti. Jagruta means wakeful, Swapna means sleep, and Sushupti means the unconsciousness. These are not three separate consciousness, but the same being is exhibited in three different forms. The superposition that we call in quantum mechanics, if we try to apply this to these three states of consciousness, what is described for Turiya is not a separate consciousness apart from these three. It is the same consciousness which is percolating through all these three states of consciousness. So that where quantum physics apply to Upanishads. The superposition of these three consciousness turn into Turiya, and Turiya is not the fourth one separate, isolated from these three. So that which you really are is a superposition of these three states of consciousness. The wakeful, the beta state, the theta state, and the delta state. We're all one and the same. We have to find out and explore the oneness of these three states of consciousness and ability to change as per the need of this consciousness. So the dissimilarity of Upanishads and quantum physics, I see this is nil. But the way we understand quantum physics, by way of understanding Upanishads, is far easier and better for a common man. But if you want to work through the quantum physics, you can understand Upanishads in a better way, naturally. There's so many scientists over the past 100 years. We have seen so many European scientists and American scientists have understood and worked out on the principles of quantum mechanics, getting inspiration, insight from Vedanta and Upanishads, starting from Werner Heisenberg, even Schrodinger, everyone, Einstein. Most of the scientists in Germany, US have taken cues and insights from Upanishads and Vedanta. So finally, we are all one. We are all one. Now, so many people are watching now. We are all one, but in different physical bodies. Same consciousness, the Turiya consciousness. Even within myself, within yourself, different states of consciousness that you think you have are also one and the same. The Turiya, the real self, the real Atma, the real soul that you are really made up of is not separated from the states of consciousness that you have. It is all percolating, all pervading same consciousness in different forms and formats. So quantum physics operations for me is absolutely one and the same, and understanding becomes more easier from any perspective, from Upanishad perspective or quantum physics perspective.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, it feels like Guru Purnima for me all over. And I am hearing all your enlightened views, but I feel we are all also experiencing the vibrations of what you all are saying. And it is really feeling like a very creative space. And I feel something new is going to manifest here today for everyone who's receptive, really. I would like to squeeze in the next question, which is, we've talked about, so the question I want to ask is, what are the greatest challenges that humanity will face in future? Right now, if you look at any news media, we are not just going from crisis to crisis. We are living so many crises at the moment. Is this how our world is? Is there a crux to all this crisis? Please guide. So Dr. Goswami, could we start with you, please? Sir, you're muted. Sir, can you unmute yourself?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
So, okay, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, this is a very, very good question. The crisis is actually a crisis of worldviews. This is a little bit difficult to observe for most people, apparently, especially for politicians who don't care about philosophy very much. So I don't think anybody in the political world or practical world will even participate in the discussions that we are doing here. If they do, it would be indeed a new age of politics. One would hope that such new age will come. But really, truly, what has happened is that religions are always cheating on values, moral values, spiritual values. And Hinduism included, by the way. Don't be partial. And of course, now scientific materialism, the conventional science, what can I say? It's totally wrong, not wrong in terms of technology. Physics and chemistry is fine, but wrong as far as the human being is concerned, because it predicts human being is a machine. By the way, Dr. Quanto, with all due respect, string theory says nothing about consciousness, nothing, because it's about elementary particles. It does not belong in this discussion. With all due respect, please don't forgive me, I'm not explicating it because there is no time. Very quickly, what we have to bring is the meaning of quantum physics in the forefront of attention of news media. News media, those people are not politicians. They are really their objective is to bring all facets of new thinking in the forum. And this extension of the forum is very important. I don't think we can do it in countries like America, because in America, news media has become very politicized. And therefore they have same polarization. Europe, likewise, frankly, the American European civilization are in a inexorable downturn. It's just going to go downhill. And that's the way all civilizations have gone. European civilization has lasted for about 400 years now. It's time for it to go. And it will, it is. I think the opportunity here is for the economies like India and Brazil and China, if it can ever get out of communism, Russia, South Africa, these countries have much more opportunity. Again, Russia also has to get out of dictatorship. But India and Brazil are in a very good shape because although Brazilians right now have a dictator, but India is quite governed by a democratic government. And so India is right now probably the freest of society. If we can influence news people and get the idea that, look, we have already a civilization we had for thousands of years, more than any other civilization, thousands of years of basic Vedantic rule. I mean, it's amazing. Through Ramayana and Mahabharata till Buddha, we had unbroken spiritual civilization. Okay, and then quantum physics is reviving it. This is the point that we have to make, that quantum physics brings back everything that we have ever wanted in India, namely a spiritual culture, which we already have. It's still there, villages have never given up on it. We have given up in the cities and in the factories, but the villagers, they're still spiritual. And there is our forte. This is our opportunity. So India has enormous opportunity to grow, and I admire people like Yuvendra who are here and doing it. I am sorry I had to go to foreign countries for whatever God's will is, it plays out. But I'm back too, and so let's try to see if the Vedantic culture, Vedic culture can be revived once again with the new understanding based on science, experimental data, so people don't have to have doubts, and we can verify all of these states, so wonderful. I have to leave, I'm sorry. It is such a wonderful discussion going on. So please continue. And
yeah, thanks for joining, Tamitji. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Goswami. I hope we are still hungry for more knowledge and insights from you. I hope you will join us in the near future very soon.
I'll be delighted.
Thank you for your enlightening views today. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Shivu, would you like to?
Yeah, so I would like to say that the crisis, like Dr. Goswami said, today's crisis is that we do not have the worldview for today's times. The worldviews which we had, there were two kinds of worldviews. One was the religious worldviews and the scientific worldviews. Both of those worldviews have failed in today's times. So the question is, what has happened so that these worldviews have failed? Something must have happened. So if we see around, okay, so whatever I'm saying is primarily coming from my own experiences and mystical guidances I have received, which got validated by science later. So I do not claim that everything will be scientifically valid, but what I can claim is that whatever I'm saying has been experimented not just by me, but thousands of other people. And based on that, I'm talking. So what change has happened in past 30 years? Life has become very chaotic. Suddenly, the pace of change has accelerated, and humans are not prepared for that. When I went very deep into why the acceleration has happened, my realization is that there is a huge influx of plasma which is happening on the whole of the solar system and on the Earth. Because of that, the electrical conductivity of the earth has gone up. Now that has created grand new possibilities, but also big challenges. First, let me talk about the possibilities this has opened. Because we all human beings basically are electromagnetic fields. Our soul is electromagnetic field. And when the electricity, the electrical conductivity all around us has become so intense, what has happened is that humans can connect with each other very deep, very quickly. There is a much deeper connection. And that is why the internet has come up. Internet came up not because technology was available, but because humans were longing for this oneness. And if we see in past 30 years, the kind of knowledge we have created, it is more than what we created in past 10,000 years. Why is that happened? Because of this rising electrical conductivity, there are higher planes which are revealing very fast. These planes have come very near to us, and these planes are revealing very fast. So the knowledge creation has become very vast very quickly. Now, one more phenomena has happened. The Hindu metaphysics and a lot of other religions also talk about that there are Devic planes and there are Asuric planes. These planes are nothing but they are of different kind of vibrations. Deva vibrations are very holistic and the Asura vibrations are very focused and concentrated. So these planes, which used to be very far from Earth, because of the rising conductivity, these planes have crunched. And in today's world, I can tell you that Devas and Asuras both are interfering in human lives to a great extent. So you can connect with Devas very quickly and you can connect with Asuras very quickly. And that has caused the whole intensity of life to really go up. So what has happened basically? Past 2,500 years, we were going through the period of Kali Yuga, the period of very low consciousness. In that phase, the subconscious got formed and it started to really bulge because humans were not conscious. So all their memories, all their experiences, they started to get collected in the subconscious. Now, these subconscious today are like volcanoes. These exist at individual level as well as the collective consciousness level. Now, what is happening is when there is so much plasma around us, we breathe in the plasma through the pranas and it is going inside and those volcanoes are getting triggered. That is why you see in today's world, things happen so quickly, eruptions happen so quickly, relationship break, the businesses go bust very quickly. Because whatever is the stored consciousness, subconscious of the humanity, it just get erupted with that rising flow of plasma. So that is the first crisis I call that the collective subconscious is triggering constantly. This is one crisis we need to address. Now the second crisis, which is again is very apparent, because of this flowing plasma, the earth is becoming more and more magnetic. Okay, let me just ask one question to everyone, because we have talked so much about the global warming. Which cities you think have the maximum impact of global warming? Which city on the earth has the highest rise in temperature? Is there any idea? Can you suggest me? This question is very important for us to understand something very, very deep. Many of you...
Venice.
Yeah, a lot of you can just message. There is a chat and you can just message which city you think has the highest warming of temperatures. So Mukul says Venice. Bangalore, yeah. Metro cities, yeah. So most of you would think that it is the metro cities which are facing the highest global warming. Let me give you a shocking news. The town on the earth which has the highest global warming is a small place called Spitsbergen. It has a population of something around 2,000 to 3,000. It's a very eco-friendly town. It is very near to the North Pole. In fact, it is at the uppermost North Pole. So now scientists are very confused that why a town which is so eco-friendly, which almost has very little population, why that town is facing the maximum global warming? And the answer of that is, yes, Leela, you guessed it right. It is Spitsbergen. So the reason why Spitsbergen is getting hot up is because the plasma flow has increased multifold, and this plasma is entering through the magnetic north of the Earth, and that is why the places which are near the North Pole are getting heated up. Now, what is happening is the magnetic core of the Earth has changed a lot, and I've done a lot of study and research on millions of years of magnetic field, how on the Earth it has changed and all. So my realization is that because of the plasma, vast changes are happening. Because of that, there are earthquakes, there are tornadoes, and there are floods, and there is tsunami, and everything is happening. So that is the second biggest crisis. And we don't have a worldview which can deal with that. Now, the third crisis is because we are evolving very quickly and a whole lot of human beings are feeling left behind. I would give you an example. Today, one of the most hotly debated topics in intellectual and philosophical circles of the world is artificial intelligence. A lot of people have fear that one day robots will control humans. They will enslave humans. It is because we do not have the right understanding. We do not have the right worldview. If you have the right worldview, these kind of crises will not arrive. You will realize that there is a particular talent humans have, which robots will never have. So that is, I think, we need a kind of a worldview which will address that very quick human evolution. Yes, Mansi, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shivo. I just want to remind everyone that, we are getting your questions and we want to keep them coming. We will try to include it in our panel discussion. But if not, in the next couple of days, it will be addressed in this WhatsApp group we have created especially for this event. Okay. So I just want to let you know, please keep it flowing. Yes, Dr. Yugandhar, please elaborate on what you think are the crises. Sir, you're muted. Could you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. So you want me to talk about future challenges?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what is the present crisis? Yes.
Yes.
That is future challenges. Yeah.
I spoke about the superposition. Superposition means the domains of consciousness merging into one. The only challenge, the only problem for this Homo sapiens species, unlike the non-Homo sapien beings, which are called as sentient beings. Sentient because they are only body and spirit. Sapien because we have body, mind, and spirit. That's the only difference. So, if you take the application of quantum physics here, let me take the same example of paradigm of superposition of all the states of consciousness merging into one. The only problem with human being in the past, present, and the future, which appear as different, but they are same if you apply the superposition principle. That is one very great application of quantum physics. Unlike the older versions of physics like Newtonian physics, even Einstein physics, the unification of consciousness at an individual level and the universal level was not pursued basically. All the problems of human beings are because of this discriminative, separative consciousness. For example, we call nature The word nature has two meanings. One is the ecosystem that you see in front of your eyes, and the inner ecosystem that we have, that is otherwise called as the nature of consciousness. This is also called as nature, right? Nature means property here. But we call something outside visible to eyes is also called as nature. So this visible world and the invisible world within you, when both are combined, superimposed into one, then we protect the nature. We become custodians of nature. We become the guardians of what is visible. Because we see it as separately, we see chicken as separate entity, goat as separate entity. That's why we eat. We devour on this flesh just because of the separated consciousness. We are treating the forests, animals, and all these five elements in the nature as separate. That's the reason why we are exploring, damaging to a very horrible extent. The damage has reached a certain level, and all the repercussions will be recurrently felt, episodically and intermittently. It happened earlier also. In the future as well, it's going to happen. Till man raises to the consciousness that the external nature and the internal nature are both same, number one. And the separated consciousness has to be transformed into unified whole. Unification of consciousness has to happen. And as awakening of critical mass is concerned, at least 1 million people need to raise their consciousness to optimum level. Maybe the combined consciousness of this internal unification process will trigger the unification of the whole world. Till then, the world is going to be the prey and victim of the predating nature of the human being. Human being is a great predator, horrible predator, most horrible predator in the world. And this predating quality is very, very cunning, very surreptitious, undercurrent. So based upon his greed, based upon his excessive desires, it will definitely damage the future. Till we raise, you have to raise your consciousness, I have to raise my own. Till we become one, nothing is going to be new in this world. We have to become one. And all our efforts, all our activities, all our time should move in this particular direction. For me, this is basically the problem and solution.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yugandhar. So
there is something, Mansi, there is something I would like to say. Dr. Yugandhar said something very beautiful. That there is a critical mass is needed. If there, he said 1 million people. Yes, if we can have a critical mass of highly conscious million people, everything in the world can be transformed. And I feel that's what Dr. Yugandhar is intending, and that's what the Quantum Life is also intending. So thank you very much for raising this point. And that's why we are conducting events like this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shivu. And thank you, Dr. Yugandhar. We have 100 here today. So hoping we go to 1 million very soon. So as you have shared your views, you have in some way shared your worldview, but I would like to address this question more specifically, that it seems that the existing worldviews are no longer able to meet the calamities or the crisis that humanity is facing. So my question to you is, what do you think should be the new holistic worldview so that we can meet these challenges?
Should I go for that? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So the holistic worldview of current times, see, we have to understand that times are changing very, very fast. And things are happening, accidents are happening, mishaps are happening. We have to, okay, so first thing I would really like to compliment participants here. And although I cannot address the questions which are coming, but there are some really beautiful questions. And some of the participants here, they have raised questions like, okay, there is human greed, there is human fear. What to do about that? And I can promise you one thing. All this is part of subconscious and is very simple to resolve. There was a time 2500 years back, Buddha taught us how to dissolve these samskaras. And that time the consciousness was reducing. Now we are in a very, very high consciousness. It's a very highly electrically conductive environment. And these subconscious can dissolve very quickly. And that's what we have experienced through our quantum life processes, that people start to observe the vibrational reality. See, I always see my own experience. I really do not know what the science will say about it, but my personal experience is, which is also shared by thousands of quantum life seekers, the moment you start to observe the vibrational reality, it starts to dissolve. So the moment, see, all this greed, fears, and all the troublesome emotions like revenge, hate, everything is stored inside us. The moment you begin to observe them vibrationally, these will dissolve into beautiful qualities. For example, the anger will turn into action and dynamism. Revenge will turn into compassion, and it's very easy and it's very quick. So the current worldview needs that how do we dissolve the individual and collective subconscious. Another thing is that we all are so much impacted by events that happened collectively. Like there were invasions, there were killings, and there were epidemics in past 2005 years. And there were droughts, and all that is collected inside us. So we need to wipe out, we need to dissolve the memories of not just our individual experiences, but also the collective experiences. So that is the first requirement of the worldview we need today. The next requirement of the worldview is we are in the creative era. So the religious worldviews, they were basically survival oriented worldviews. So the consciousness kept reducing through the yoga cycles. It came down from Sati Yuga to Treta Yuga to Dwapara Yuga and to Kali Yuga. So there is a constant descendance of consciousness. So that is why the religions which came at the Sati Yuga were the highest religions, like Upanishads and Rig Veda. And after that, the Samveda and Yajurveda came. And then Atharvaveda came in the somewhere in Dwapara Yuga. And the Gita came in Dwapara Yuga. So you see there is a certain descendance of consciousness. By the Kali Yuga, the consciousness was very, very low, and the religion was only about survival. So these kind of survival worldviews, when the ascending Yuga became, and when it became effective 300 years back, around 1700, a new creative consciousness happened. Because of that, the science came up. And then there was an immediate conflict between the scientific worldview and the religious worldviews. And a lot of you would remember that Catholic Church prosecuted scientists heavily. So Copernicus said that, so what is written in Bible is that sun goes around the earth. Now Copernicus said the opposite, that it is earth goes around the sun. Now Copernicus was very, very scared. So he was very lucky also that when he published this thesis, he died after 2 months. But Galileo supported this view, and he was heavily prosecuted by the Catholic Church. So the Catholic Church was sticking to the old worldview. Now, what happened? England, the Britain, was the first nation on the earth which rejected the traditional worldview. And it said, okay, we will develop something intellectually, scientifically, even if it goes against what is written in Bible. That is why the scientific revolution happened in Britain and the industrial revolution happened in Britain. That is why Britain became such a strong country that it created its colonial empire everywhere. So the small nation of Britain beaten all the traditional nations on the earth. Why? Because these traditional nations, including India, they were still believing in those survival-oriented religious views, worldviews, while the Britain had adopted the scientific worldview. And that is a conflict we still face today. If you see, the top nation today is the USA, and it just got seeded less than 300 years back. It was the start of the ascending Yuga. So it has no past. So past is really the baggage. It can also become an asset, but past is a huge baggage. We Indians also are carrying this baggage. And The problem is that we are living so much in the glory of the past. It is great that we had a great past, but that doesn't mean we will not create something new. So how about integrating the past glory, but create something new? If there is so much glory we had in the past, what about the glory of the present? What are we doing in present? I think that is the greatest crisis India has faced, that it has not been able to adopt to the creative worldview. So that is the second requirement of the worldview. It has to be creative. And there is a very, very simple fundamental of creation, what I have realized through my own mystical experiences. Integrate two diverse realities, and boom, it will have a new creation. Very simple example. Einstein created the two scientific realities. One was the matter-oriented science of Newton. Another was the electromagnetic science of James Maxwell. And that's how the theory of relativity came. And if you see, all the creation today in the world is happening through the people who are able to create two different realities, two diverse realities. So the quantum observation, again, go on the vibrational level, or there are diverse realities which exist vibrationally, but the moment you observe two vibrational realities at the same time, a new creation manifests through you. And this is some fundamental we have worked in quantum life. So I am talking from my experience. So the worldview needs to include that. And the third thing is, the worldview needs to understand that humans are the conscious beings. So there is no threat from robots because they are not conscious. In the times, I always tell people that the greatest asset of a human being is that it can flow with the consciousness, with the changing times, which robots cannot flow. To a robot, you also have to give an updated input. But humans can tap that input directly from the cosmos. So if humans can learn to tap the unknown, to channel the unknown, I think this is the greatest human talent today. The greatest human talent today is to tap into the unknown. So the worldview I'm talking about has to deal with how do the humans live in unknown. So yeah, thank you, Mansi. This is from my side.
Thank you, Shiva. I'd like to hear from Dr. Yugandhar. We have about 26 more minutes for our session. We are, thank you. Yes, Dr. Yugandhar.
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead with the worldview, with the holistic worldview, and then we come to, there are a couple more questions.
Yeah, please shoot.
Okay, so as I was telling Shivu, you can answer the same question that, we've been talking that religion used to be the dominating worldview at a point of time, but right now it is also causing conflicts. Science could be a worldview, but it is seen mostly by people as an application to make their lives better. What do you think is a holistic worldview that we need to meet these challenges?
Okay. Most of the people in the social reality know what is a hologram. Hologram means when you take a bit of this entity called as hologram, the whole picture, that which is made up of and called as hologram, exists in every bit, every iota, every unit of it. Human beings, as I told just now, are extremely gravitated, extremely tethered with the separative consciousness because of the dominating elements of greed, dominating elements of his own denser traits and temperaments. The holistic view of the world will only end up finally in conceptual or intellectual jargon. because the social reality operates in different perspective and frequency. The spiritual world operates in very different perspective and frequency. The inner world. Holistic view whatsoever, the integrated approach whatsoever, has to be in every which way. For example, we have got this physical body, so many organs, brain, liver, kidney, and each organ has got different types of cells. The cell of a kidney is called as nephron. The cell of brain is called as neuron. The cell of liver is called as hepatocyte. Different cells of different sizes, altogether different functions. Not all cells are same. Anatomically, they might be same because it has a nucleus, cytoplasm, mitochondria, same. But the functions are totally different. The network is totally different. The aim and purpose is totally different. Within the liver, the integration has to happen. All the hepatocytes, all the cells of liver need to work in tandem, work as single unit to work in the way the liver is supposed to be, to produce liver enzymes and to help in digestive system. Same with pancreas, same with kidneys. All the cells of kidneys need to work in tandem so that it will filter 180 liters of blood per day and produce 4 to 5 liters of urine. If the plumbing job is stopped, people will die, the person will die. So liver has got effect on kidney, kidney has effect on liver, everything is interrelated, and no particular organ can claim that I am great. Unfortunately, they don't have mind the way this whole being has. If each organ has got a mind, I don't think creation can happen. Fortunately, these cells do not have a great mind that we whole being has. So, at the body level, different organs work in tandem. Similarly, in the universal level, every being, every consciousness unit that we call as one physical body with particular name, with particular cultural linguistic background, need to raise to this awakening. It is all individual effort. And whatsoever concepts we present from the perspective of holism will finally end up as intellectual jargon. For me, every individual has to raise their consciousness. These are individuals alone awaken. En masse cannot awaken. It is not possible. All the listeners, I request, you put all your efforts, go within, internalize your consciousness, you become what you are. When you become what you are called as a master of your life. When you become master of your life, definitely the people in your vicinity will be inspired. They will catch up. This is the way. That is the only way. So, holistic point of view whatsoever is rooted down to awakening of consciousness from within at an individual level for me.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yugandhar. It is so amazing. We get to hear these diverse views, and in that diversity, there feels like a common thread uniting us. Thank you so much. The next one is a burning question. Today, we are living through arguably the greatest pandemic that we have seen in our lives. So my question is this a kind of tipping point? Is this going to change the future of the future trajectory of humanity? What is the post-COVID world going to look like? Shiva?
Yeah. Okay. So I will point out the consciousness as well as the astrological perspective here. So there are always two kind of trends which are happening. So they are humans, and because they have, now the answer I'm giving is very, very mystical answer, but just consider what I'm saying. So the human beings have a tendency to remain attached with their past. So what is the past today? The past today is very matter-centric, money-centric. In past 2000 years, 2500 years of Kali Yuga consciousness, human did not know soul. They hardly knew mind. So only thing they knew was matter. And we have become very matter centric. 300 years back, there was a little shift for the better. We became more money centric with the industrial revolution. So even today, the humans are very money centric. Now, these are the worldviews of the past. Now, there is a new worldview emerging, and that worldview is more consciousness centric, more idea centric. The We can see that the internet happened, and with that, the ideas and knowledge and the mind has become the driving factor of humanity. But we have been sticking to the matter centric worldview. So when these two realities, it has always happened in past, always. When these two kind of realities, they become far apart, something shocking happens in the world. And that what shocking happens, I have researched on this for thousands and for hundreds of years. It is very beautifully predicted by astrology. So for past 2 years, we had been predicting, because of the astrological formation of Saturn, Ketu, Jupiter, Pluto in Sagittarius together, which is a very, very rare combination. We had been predicting for past 2 years that our ecosystem, the global ecosystem, is collapse in next 2 years. We did not say how it will collapse, but we say it is going to collapse. So I think the point that has happened with the COVID today, the ecosystem has collapsed. The We have had a kind of a reset button, and I feel from here, where the world is going to go, it will move into the mind oriented, idea centric world. So if you want to really live beautifully in the post COVID world, explore that how the mind works differently from matter. You have to let go of the money centric approach to life. You have to come to the mental attitudes like exploration, the satisfaction, ideas, knowledge. So that's what is going to drive the world in next 30 years. For my prediction for next 30 years is we will go more and more idea centric. And a lot of people are saying that uh, with the COVID, the globalization has collapsed. But my view is totally opposite. We are going to go into a different phase of globalization. So the kind of globalization we know today, it started 300 years back with the trade, uh, when there was an industrial revolution and there was a lot of trade around. That's what we call globalization. But now we're going to have a different kind of globalization with internet present. Human minds across the world will meet. There will be a lot of integration of various realities will happen, and we are going to come up, trust me, with some most amazing, awesome knowledge which is unprecedented in the world. That's what I feel the future of the humanity is for next 30 years.
Thank you so much, Shivo. Dr. Yugandhar, we've already been hearing from you on chat, but could you answer the same question?
Yeah.
Uh, we are in this global pandemic, and is this a tipping point? What is the post-COVID world going to look like? A lot of people have also asked the same on chat. So
Yeah. COVID, see, as Shivo ji is explaining, everything is a spectrum in the world. All the emotions, all the understanding, all the perspective, everything is a spectrum. A full spectrum understanding has to be understood. For example, love and hatred seem to be diametrically opposite, but they are one and the same, as Shivaji was telling. On one end of the spectrum, it is hatred, on another spectrum, it is love. But an awakened being stays at the meridian. For him, there is no love and there is no hatred. He doesn't move either towards x-axis or y-axis. And coronavirus has brought though it appears to be an impending doom, but it has brought an impending awakening in masses. People started realizing the futility of working more and more for stupid things. We did not work. We have to be playful, celebrate life, relax, be still within. When you're still within, the consciousness within gets distilled. So stillness within is very, very important. Corona has made us stay in the closed quarters physically and mentally. So many people are trying to spend time with themselves and are trying to raise to the understanding that we need to be still within as well. When we become still, we are becoming a future human being. The new species is going to emerge. When stillness becomes our nature, all animals, all aquatic beings, or the terrestrial, arboreal beings have already experienced the stillness. A rabbit which is going to die next day also is very, very happy. No animal, no serpent, no insect can ever be unhappy in the nature. Impossible. Though they know for sure that it is going to be devoured, it is going to be eaten by some predator, but still they're extremely happy. What is wrong with human beings? What is wrong with them? Most of the human beings are stupids. Sorry to say, our species is a very bad species. Very bad. We have to learn so many things from animals. We have to learn so many things from children. We have to learn so much from the perspective of awakening. If we need to get awakened, there is no other way for us. Corona is teaching us to wake up. It is already given a clarion call. It has already given a wake-up call. The situation is so alarming that you have to wake up. There is no way for you. Corona has come to wake up the people en masse. Though it is not possible en masse, enlightenment is not possible, at least a few people can realize bit by bit to integrate the bits and pieces of consciousness working in various centrifugalized directions. Now, the phenomena of centripetalization has to happen. The phenomena of going within has to happen. Everything has to become still. Once we are still inside, yes, the whole world is going to be celestial abode for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Yugandhar, and thank you, Shivo, for showing us how this is an opportunity that many of us are realizing. And sometimes it takes a virus to do what, other more beautiful things in life don't. So sometimes we need that shock. So now we come to our last question. This seems to be the most important question to me. And you all have already touched upon this in your while answering previous questions. But I want to address this more specifically now. We've talked about global challenges. We've talked about the holistic worldview. I would now like to come to the individual. What is your individual guidance to each one of us? What can we do today to prepare ourselves for the challenges of tomorrow? What do we need to do today for our own evolution? We start with Shiva. Shiva, you are on mute.
Yeah. So your question is.
Hi, can everyone mute themselves, please?
So the question you have is that what do we human beings need to do? I already almost answered this question. We all have to work on 3 levels. First is we need to dissolve our subconscious, individual as well as collective. Second is we need to be present to the creative manifestation, become the cosmic channel. And I have realized there is a very, very simple sutra. A lot of people ask me, okay, how do we create something totally new in the world? And I always tell them something very simple. Integrate the two different realities. One reality which you had lived in the past or you are living in the present, and discover another reality, another diverse reality. And when they become one, automatic, there will be, you don't have to do anything. The creation is going to manifest. We are experiencing that again and again in quantum life. So that is the second thing. And the third thing is learn to live with unknown. Do not stick to the known, because there is no juice there. Learn to live in the unknown, surrender to life and flow with it. Connect with superconscious. So these are the three sutras: dissolve subconscious, integrate diverse realities for creative manifestation, and third, connect with the superconscious. We humans today, we really need support of the superconscious being to evolve, to really take advantage of this brilliant situation, the chaos. If we are able to follow these three sutras, the chaos will not be a liability, it will become our asset. We will be able to create through chaos. Yeah, thank you, Mansa.
Thank you so much, Shiva, for clearly telling us the steps and the sutras. Dr. Yugandhar, the same question to you.
Yeah.
What is your individual guidance to us?
First thing is, I just texted. Stop searching for anything outside. Stop searching for anything outside. Move away from searching to sourcing. Searching to sourcing has to happen. No shopping. No shopping for truth. No shopping for wisdom. Stop all shopping. Get sourced. The source is within. Discover it. In the word discover, what is there? You have to remove the cover, that's all. The cover is mind. Someone asked me, what is Maya? I told mind is Maya. Because that is stopping the truth. The only difference between mind and spirit is the mind is a divided entity, the soul is integrated entity. You have to move from mind to spirit. How? What I feel is, because you asked for guidance, let me speak for only 1 or 2 minutes.
Yes, please.
I always feel that commitment is very important. Commitment. Commitment for what? Commitment for awakening, your awakening, individual awakening. You are the most important person in the whole world. Commitment for yourself, for awakening, self-awakening. How do you awaken? How do you move from mind to spirit? Because mind also always tethers you down, pulls you down, gravitates you down. How to move from mind to the unified consciousness, unfragmented consciousness, unfractured consciousness? It happens through inner ease. Don't fight within. Shivaji's favorite word, chaos. No chaos, please. He says chaos to clarity. Yes, I like it. Inner ease, have inner ease. When you are easy with yourself, all the centrifugalization turns into centripetalization. No dissemination of your consciousness. No dissemination of what you are within to the social reality outside. Bring everything within. That is called as pratyanga chetana. Internalize your consciousness by way of inner ease. Be easy with yourself. Don't fight within. In the mind, please don't fight. Never fight. Ease. Practice inner ease. Practice calmness, inner calm. Always work for inner calmness. Inner calmness, inner ease, commitment. This fourth one. What could be the fourth one? Remember all the above three.
Yeah, and what I would like to say here is that with the person who is so calm from within could organize the vast world spiritual parliament. So the calmness is really powerful.
Yeah.
So Dr. Yugandhar, you have really demonstrated that what is the power of calmness and how can you manifest when you are in the state of calmness. You have really manifested it.
How? Thank you very much. So we have to remember all the three on a daily basis. And as Shivaji told, integration of everything, the past, present, and future. And let me add something more to integration. Integration of outer and inner world. Spiritual world and the social world are not two separate entities. Please understand this. The awakening within has to happen from the mirror of social reality. You already become a perennial victim of the social reality by way of centrifugalization of consciousness. Now, no more. Enough. 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 Come back. When you are a child, you are completely centered, completely internalized. Become a child again, once again. Becoming a child once again is becoming spiritual. Let us all become children. That's all. Nothing else. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yugandhar, Shiva. I feel in just feeling this consciousness today, we are in our little way changing the trajectory of the future of humanity. I really feel so.
Mansi, just one. Mansi, just
yeah.
Just give me a minute.
Yes,
There
of
are
course.
so many questions are flowing in, and these questions are really beautiful. So the idea that came to my mind, maybe next Sunday, same time, we can have another Zoom meet, which is only about answering questions. Yeah, so probably we can have that for an hour or so. What do you think?
Dr. Yugandhar?
Yes, please. Next Sunday?
Yeah, next Sunday, same time.
Yeah. They are very good questions, and
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am glad we are already creating something here. The creation is already happening, a new creation. So, I would like to make a couple announcements and thank some people here. I would like to thank Dr. Renuka. Can we have the spotlight on Dr. Renuka? Dr. Renuka is the person who really collaborated with Dr. Goswami and brought this trinity together so that we could have this trifecta effect in this panel discussion. Thank you so much, Renuka.
Thank you.
We really appreciate not only you bringing in Dr. Goswami, but also all your inputs into the questions and how this panel should be held. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mansi.
Thank you, Renuka ji.
I want to thank our team.
Yeah.
I want to thank our.
Yeah. Let me take 10 seconds time.
Yes, Dr. Yugandhar.
Yeah. We had two world parliaments, one in 2012 in Hyderabad. 2016, we had second one in Utah, USA. The third one, as per the vision, intuition that we received, it will be in continents, 6 continents. We initially planned to have physical events everywhere. Some places, venues have also been booked. But now it is going to be online program, starting from October first week to December last week. So already for 4 continents, dates have also been finalized. We are going to have 1,000 spiritual speakers. From
amazing.
From 200 countries of the world.
Brilliant.
200 countries. That is almost all countries. So 2024, it is going to be. Am I audible? The video is hang up. Yeah. Okay. Let me continue voice. 2024, it is going to be nationwide. And this year, everything is on track. And so much of work is going on. I welcome here with everyone to be a part of this rising consciousness. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yugandhar. And Dr. Yugandhar's channel, World United, is on YouTube. Please follow it, and we will put all his links on this WhatsApp group too, so you could follow him and give information about Dr. Goswami. We have some new events happening in Quanto Life too. We have a 5-day program which is coming up on resolving your conflicts, and we had it 2 weeks ago, and almost all the participants had miraculous shifts. So I highly recommend it. We will put the information in our WhatsApp group. And with this,
Can you also share those who are not on the WhatsApp, how they can join the WhatsApp group? Can you share that?
Yes. So people who are not on WhatsApp, we've already shared the link in the chat. Dirga, Atin, can you also share your number? Can you also share your phone number here so that we can
you can also speak up the number.
Yeah. So Atin, can I have your number? Can I speak up your number so that people who are on YouTube live can Atin, can you give me your number? Can you post your number?
My number is 89-287-53432. 89-287-53432. Yeah.
Okay, Atin, can you also put it on on the YouTube channel comment, just to be sure?
Yeah, sure.
And I would like to thank our team, Atin, Nitika, Dirga, Rupali, Kavita, Preeti, Rashi, Rio, Ranjana. We couldn't have done this without you. I would like to give a special shout out to Mukul for being the face of glory, the Kirti Mukha, the gateway for so many new people to join us today. Thank you all so much, and see you next Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Mansi. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thanks all.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. Yes, Indra, we've noted your number and we will add you to the WhatsApp group. Thank you. And we will add you to the WhatsApp group. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we will add you.
Thank you. Thank you.